All right, it is now 7 o'clock, so let's get started. Cheers. It's hard to see because of the mic, but I am debuting my new Nora Roberts inspired t-shirt. Let's just move this out of the way. It says, "I have personally explained the process to you, Deborah." And if you don't know what that means, then you should just Google it, because it's hilarious and also painful. But it does show that not everybody knows how the sausage gets made in publishing. And that's kind of what I'm doing tonight. I'm going to talk about the new Bubba the Monster Hunter Indiegogo campaign that we're running. Bubba's been around for, wow, I think we published the first Bubba collection in 2012. So Bubba's coming up on his 9th birthday. He's a big kid, but he's still just a kid. And we have done audiobooks of all of the previous Bubba the Monster Hunter collections that you can see right here. Scattered, Smothered, and Chunked, Grits, Guns, and Glory, Wine, Women, and Song, and Monsters, Magic, and Mayhem. And the way we've produced these in the past is I have had a fantastic narrator, John Solo, who has worked on a royalty share platform with me, which means that he produces the audiobooks for no money up front, and then he gets part of the royalties when the audiobook sells. And that's been fantastic. When I was starting out with Bubba, he was starting out with audiobooks, and our careers have kind of grown together. But he's really busy now. And like all of us with a family to support, he got to get paid. So I wanted to produce these audiobooks differently. I don't know if y'all could hear that squeaky door. That's my cat. He will probably come in here at some point. That was him going into the bathroom, because the bathroom is on the other side of the wall from the computer, and the washer and dryer are running, which means that one, if either of them stops while this video is happening, Patrick Dugan will get confused and check on his laundry, because we both have LG washers and dryers, and they play a song when they finish. And Dugan and I have talked in the past about how he's been watching YouTube videos of mine and paused the video and gone to check his laundry and been like, "There's nothing in my washer. What's going on?" So because the washer and dryer are running, the cat wants to get in the dryer. Now, he's never been in a dryer, so he has no idea how uncomfortable that would be. But it's warm, and it's someplace he's not supposed to go. So, of course, cat wants to go in the dryer. Yeah, it's going to be that kind of stream. But anyway, I wanted to produce Bubba Season 5 on what's called a per finished hour payment method, which means that I pay my narrator as soon as they're finished producing the book, and I pay them a set rate per finished hour of audio. I don't pay them per hour of recording, because by the time you record and mix and estimates usually takes about 3 to 4 hours of work to create one finished hour of audio. And most of the Bubba books are novellas, so they're about 30 to 35,000 words. So they're about 4 finished hours of audio each. Now, that means, since I get a deal because I've been working with this narrator for a long time, I'm able to produce these audiobooks for about $1,000 a piece. So that money's in the budget. It's already set aside. But I thought to myself, hey, self, it's been a long time since Bubba 4 came out in audio. You've been kind of slacking on getting audiobooks to people, so you should fix that. What will make you get them out the door faster? And I thought, well, self, there are a few things that motivate me. Fried chicken, Mountain Dew, and money. And I can use one of those to acquire the other two. So, Audible's quality assurance screening process over the past year or so has kind of tripled in the time it takes. What used to take 3 weeks is now taking 3 months sometimes between the time an audiobook is complete and turned into them and the time it's on sale. So that means that if I finished an audiobook tomorrow, I won't, you wouldn't get it until, I don't know, late March, April. But if we do these, pardon me, I burped. If we do these separate from Audible's process, I can distribute them other ways. We've only done audiobooks exclusive to Audible before now, except for my Quincy Harker stuff, which is produced by Tantor Media. So the reason that we do that is because Audible has 2 different pay scales. If you're a small press or self-published author and you make your audiobook exclusive to Audible, you get 40% of the sale price. Yes, Audible keeps 60% of the sale price of the audiobook. If you agree to only sell your audiobook on Audible, if you want to sell your audiobook anywhere else, they keep 75% of the sale. Now, most of the time, these 4-hour audiobooks, we're going to say they're $10. I don't actually know how much they cost because I've only ever bought with an Audible subscription, but we're going to say they're about $10. So that means that if I wanted to be able to sell them directly to you and sell them on Audible, Audible would keep $7.50 out of that $10. In a best case, Audible keeps $6 out of the $10. If I'm selling these through this Indiegogo campaign, I keep $9 of those $10. And my narrator gets paid up front. So that means that my narrator gets paid sooner, I get a bigger chunk of the money, and y'all get the audiobooks quicker. So that's why we are doing this Indiegogo campaign to fund the audiobook production. And it's not really even to fund it, it's more just to serve as pre-orders, because we were making these regardless. And we were switching from royalty share to pay per hour regardless. So this is just a pre-order and a way for me to dip my toe into crowdfunding, because there are some things that we want to do at Falstaff that don't fall into our normal, everyday, this is how we make books kind of stuff. We've got that process pretty well down. And once upon a time, we crowdfunded an anthology called Lawless Lands that was amazing, and it went very well. I didn't really have anything to do with it. Misty Massey and Emily Leverett and Margaret McGraw, they handled all of that. I just took the money, printed the book. I did the publisher things, but I didn't do any of the crowdfunding things. So this is a way for me as a publisher to learn more about how crowdfunding works. And so far it's working pretty well. We've sold a few copies of these audiobooks, and as we go along, people will still be able to buy them on Audible. If you want to use your Audible subscription to pick up these audiobooks, you can do that. It's not going to be your most economical way to do it. We're charging $15 for 3 audiobooks. That's, now I'm from South Carolina, so give me a minute with this higher math. But that's about $5 per audiobook. Your Audible subscription is about $15 every month. So you can either use 3 credits and get 3 audiobooks, or you can use $15 cash and get 3 audiobooks. And once we are done with this video, etc., I'll make sure that we post a link to everything, because, you know, I probably should have it right there where it says want to leave a tip. I should have just said, hey, go here for the Indiegogo. But I didn't. So I have faith in Melissa's ability to find that link and post it in the chat, though. This is where we're going to see if she's left to get dinner or if she's still watching. I'm totally messing with my assistant at this point. It's just Cheerwine, shut up. So that's kind of what we're doing with the Indiegogo campaign. The other thing we're doing, there's a couple other little pieces. We are producing an audiobook for Shine Punk. Now, Shine Punk is Bubba adjacent. It is a collection of 4 short stories that I wrote for various anthologies about moonshine punk. Many moons ago, my friend Kimberly Richardson was editing a steampunk anthology, and we were at a convention together, and she said, hey, Hartness, you going to give me anything for this anthology? And I said, I don't know. What do you want? She said, I don't know. What do you want to send me? And I said, well, what haven't you ever seen? And she said, this is my 3rd steampunk anthology. I've seen it all. I was like, all right. Hold my beer. Or actually more like hold my moonshine, because immediately I thought moonshine punk. And it all comes from Foghorn Leghorn. Hand to God, y'all. I have always wanted to write the phrase, Beauregard, come here, boy. Great-Grandpappy Beauregard 100% exists because I wanted to prove that I could make up a flavor of steampunk that Kimberly had never seen, and I wanted to write Foghorn Leghorn fanfic. So now we're getting to put that into audio through this Indiegogo. And I feel like it's going to be so much fun, and I can't wait to hear what John Solo comes up with for the silliness that is Bubba's Great-Grandpappy Beauregard. Because, y'all, you think Bubba's a mess? Just imagine Bubba in 1910 with a precocious sister who keeps inventing all of these fantastic things that then all blow up, because it is still a Bubba story. So, hey, Mark! F you, Mark. Good to see you, buddy. I have to do it. It's a thing. So, we are creating an audiobook for the Great-Grandpappy Beauregard stories. Now, here is your part. If we, everybody who backs the Indiegogo at any level, at the $2 level, at the $15 level, at the $15 plus all of the Bubba paperback level, everybody who backs it gets a bonus MP3 of me reading one of the Bubba short stories. Because Bubba, I mean, over the years, I've done a bunch of anthologies. I've been very fortunate. Friends have said, hey, you want to give me a story for this anthology? And I said, well, you want to pay me for it? And most of the time they said yes. Sometimes they said it's for charity. And then I was like, all right, fine, I can use a write-off. But there are quite a few Bubba short stories out there that haven't been collected in any of these books, and some of y'all have never read. So I'm going to read one of them for everybody. Everybody who backs the Indiegogo at any level will get that. If we go over the goal, now the goal is $3,000. This is not an insignificant amount of money. That is 200 people pre-ordering these 3 audiobooks. If we pass the goal, for every $500 we go over, I'll record another Bubba short story. And everybody who backs the Indiegogo gets that. So one happens regardless. One more happens if we get to goal. And more if we get to 3,500, 4,000, 4,500. And I'm going to make y'all a deal. And this is where you're going to think that it's not just cheerwine in my cup. If this Indiegogo makes double the goal, if it breaks $6,000, I will live stream my wife shaving my head. For real. I will absolutely. And that is not an insignificant amount of hair. It's also not much of a stretch because I'm a Leo and I haven't changed my hair in 2 years, and that might be a personal record for me. And hey, you can, at some point we can do a poll and we'll do votes to have people pick what short story. And yeah, I can tell the lag on the video because now the chat just got to the point where I said I'd shave my head. So yeah, if we get there, I'll do it. So that's the Indiegogo. That's what we're doing. Do any of y'all have any questions for me? Is there anything that you want to know about the process? Because I mean, I got nothing better to do tonight. When we're done here, I'm just going to get back on revisions for Black Knight 8. I did my editorial today. I'm editing the 4th book in the Reliquant Chronicles by Aaron Rosenberg right now. So I did my editorial earlier. I need to do my revisions. And then NCIS New Orleans for the rest of the evening. And yeah, I don't even know how people do Q&As with this kind of lag. It's like 20 seconds. That's crazy to me. Oh, that's a good question. Mark wants to know how long from the end of campaign until you get that first MP3 of me reading. I don't know. Not long. I don't see any reason why I won't pre-record it. Steve Wetherill, who some of you know as Brandon Thighmaster from Authors and Dragons, and some of you know does all of our audio for Authors and Dragons, Steve's going to produce the reading that I do. So I don't see why I can't read it next month and have it ready to go as soon as the Indiegogo is finished. So yeah, soon. I'm going to do a real short reading. Just a couple of minutes of a work in progress that I don't think any of y'all have seen. And while I'm doing this, if you guys have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. And after I read for about 5 minutes of Identity Crisis, one of my new works in progress, that is unrelated to any series I have going because I need more stuff happening in my life, y'all post them in the chat and I'll come back to it. Identity theft, based on a true story. I stared at the screen, mouth hanging open as I felt my blood pressure rise. I closed my eyes, took 3 deep breaths, counted to 10. Then counted to 10 in French and Spanish, wished for a moment that I was fluent in either French or Spanish, and that I knew how to count to 10 in more than 3 languages, because in 2020, my rage was definitely pegged at the need to count to 10 in at least 6 languages to not scream at people, point on the dial. Then I opened my eyes. It was still there. I was looking at my bank account online. Not a big thing. The kind of thing people do every day. Especially people like me who have just barely clawed their way back into some semblance of financial, not security, so much as not complete catastrophe. Everything looked about right, but as I gave a quick look at my recent transactions, something caught my eye. It was a $26 charge from Chow Sprint, a food delivery service. No big deal, right? Everybody knows that delivery services are overpriced as hell, but in the middle of a pandemic, who wants to sit inside a restaurant with a whole bunch of plague-bearing assholes that you didn't want breathing in your air before they might be carrying the closest thing we'll ever to get to Stephen King's Captain Trips? Thanks for that, Steve, by the way. If the rest of your books come true, I'm road tripping to Maine to kick your skinny ass. But I've never ordered from Chow Sprint. I use Foodie Ride or Meal Locator, or I just dangle the keys in front of my 16-year-old daughter and tell her that if she'll go in and pick up takeout, I'll let her drive. That last one saves me a lot on delivery charges and tips, but it costs me nearly as much in Xanax and vodka. I clicked on the transaction just as my email dinged and the little red circle with a 1 in it popped up on my screen telling me I had new mail. This caused more of a dilemma than it should for any reasonable person because I was torn between following up on this fraudulent charge and giving in to my ever so slightly OCD loathing for having unread notifications on my computer screen. Seriously, those little red bubbles make me twitchy. I once borrowed Jess, my oldest daughter's phone, and almost broke out in hives at the number of unread emails and ignored voicemails she had on there. I literally could barely dial the thing. My hands were shaking so hard. When I was done with the call, I handed the phone back to her just as a thought struck me. How many of those unheard voicemails are from me? I don't know, Mom. I haven't listened to them. She might be 20 years old now, but she somehow has never lost the 14-year-old duh in her voice when she speaks to me. I've stopped wondering when she'll grow out of it, and now wonder if she'll live to get her undergraduate degree. So I was in a real conundrum. Do I chase down this Chow Sprint thing, or do I check my email? I realized that I'd spent longer thinking about checking my email than it would have taken me to check, read, and respond to the email, so I clicked the little postage stamp icon. Son of a bitch. Well, the point was moot, because checking my email directly added to me digging deeper into the mysterious charge, because there was a Chow Sprint order confirmation in my inbox. I clicked on it, and the whole situation became clearer. There was a Chow Sprint delivery order for a pair of Bobby Ray's Italian subs. No lettuce, no tomato, extra oil and vinegar, extra mayo on garlic Parmesan loaf. Apparently, the two most white bread identity thieves in America had somehow hacked my debit card and ordered really awful subs with it. I mean, it's one thing to steal my identity, but to order shitty delivery with it? No. This would not stand. So I did what any 47-year-old woman in America does in the year 2020 when something egregious happens. I posted it to my social media. Within seconds, I had 10 angry face emojis, a couple caring hug emojis, and 3 seemingly inappropriate eggplant emojis. But I had done my duty to the world. I had shared my outrage with all 823 of my cyber friends, most of which I had never laid eyes on in real life. Now it was time to cancel my card and see what could be done about getting these little mayo-loving bastards brought to justice. And that is the beginning of identity theft. And it is based on a true story. And Jessica Nettles, yes, I did name one of the daughters after you. I think I had just gotten off Facebook with you when I started writing this story. So you're immortal. You're also 14 in the book, so, or 16. So yes, you can back the Indiegogo and give the reward to someone else. I don't really care what you do with it. It's your property, and it's your stuff. It's going to be your digital file. Honestly, if you really wanted to, you could back the thing, download it, listen to it, then give it to somebody else. I only kind of care about that. I care a lot more when it's actually taking money out of my pocket, but if you've listened to it and think it's awesome and want to share it and spread the word, go for it. And Bill, you can contribute as many times as you want to, buddy. I will take as much of your cash as you would like to donate to see me bald. Yes, Melissa, it is the theater kid in me that makes different faces when I'm reading. It's also the theater kid in me that makes different voices when I'm reading than when I'm just normally speaking. So that is what I've got for you tonight. Thanks for hanging out for a few minutes. I really appreciate it. Get out there and back the Indiegogo. Spread the word. What is it? bit.ly/Bubba earholes. Because I let Melissa make up the URL, so that's what I get. So thank y'all. And I'm going to try and make these live stream things happen on a pretty regular basis. Pretty regular. And yes, Mark, there will be at some point a way for people to back the process and get me reading the Bigfoot fight. You can also, on this very YouTube channel, I'm pretty sure there's a there's me doing a reading at a Logicon of the Squatchdong fight. So poke around in our older videos, because it might already exist. But thank y'all. I appreciate you. And I will see you in the funny papers.